Live, local, social. It's time for the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show. On cable, on the web, and all over social media. Featuring stories from close to home, starring people like you. Live from Greater West Bloomfield, it's the Splash Live.
That's right. Welcome, friends and neighbors. We are live in West Bloomfield Township on site at Town Hall for an in-person, out-in-the-field version of the Splash Live today. Technology allowing us to go out and about all throughout the community, all throughout the week. Tell your stories today. We'll get the whole show for you from right here close to home in West Bloomfield Township. Welcome to the program. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you so much for joining us. It was an action-packed weekend in Greater West Bloomfield, and it all began on the hardwood out at West Bloomfield High School. The highly anticipated Orchard Lake Road showdown for the district title between West Bloomfield High School and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Here are the top moments from Friday's game. For the fourth straight year, Orchard Lake St. Mary's meets West Bloomfield in the district round of the MHSAA Boys Basketball Tournament. The Eaglets, winners of 3 straight contests, including the past 2 district finals. The Lakers look to end that streak on their home court in front of a packed house. First quarter, Branislav Stoyanovsky is off iron on the triple try, but Harold Haynes crashes the board for the putback. Laker Nation strikes first. It would be defensive stops for both squads, and about 2 minutes before Elijah Hines' no-go is boarded and put back by Chad Willis for O Lake's first points. Then some contact sends Kareem Pruitt to the charity stripe, where he hits 1 of 2. Eaglets up 3-2 halfway through the first quarter. Minute 40 left in the opening frame. Orchard Lake has been cold for almost 3 minutes until DJ Banks hits the heat check and breaks the Eaglet deficit down to 4. They'd get one more shot off before the buzzer, but it would stay 10-6 after the first 8 minutes of play. On to the second. Banks rejects the Jaden Brown layup, then a drive and a deuce for Kareem Pruitt makes it a 1-score game. Almost 2 minutes go by without another score until Stoyanovsky gets back on the board with a corner 3 and a Laker lead. Under a minute in the half, Ryan Hood pulls up at the elbow. Kareem Pruitt says, "Get out of here." Shortly after Orchard Lake, 7 seconds left. It's Banks to Hines, to Banks, and to the rim. Eaglets trail 15-12 at the break. On to half number 2. The whole town is in the house for the game of the weekend in West Bloomfield. West B strikes early in the third, then Orchard Lake hits Chad Willis in the restricted area for a quick lay-in. Eaglets down just 3. About midway through the quarter, Nasir Moore drives the lane, takes a hard foul in the process. A couple plays later, Moore attacks the hoop again, this time gets his own board, plus an and 1. Laker Nation likes that. The home team is back up by 4. Then it's Ryan Hood on the spin cycle, and guess what? The bank stayed open late. He'd cash in the bucket and expand the Laker lead to 6, one of the largest leads of the entire contest. Less than 30 seconds later, it's Hood again. He comes around the corner for another bucket. The Lake Show is surging. Both crowds are getting into it. We head into the final 8 minutes. West Bloomfield 24, Orchard Lake 18. Then the final frontier, fourth quarter at West B. 10 seconds in, Bela Matias hits the short J from the low block. It would go back and forth from there until the final few minutes. Eaglets trail by 8 with 2:45 to go. Elijah Hines hits a jumper to cut off the drought and drop the deficit to 6 points. Minute 16 to go. Eaglets down by just 4. Matias with an intercept hits the brakes on the wing and then the triple. O Lake rides the lightning and it's a 1-point game with 60 seconds to play. 42 seconds left in the game. Tough inbound for WB. Branislav Stoyanovsky escapes to the corner. He sets his feet and he drops the anchor from the corner. Bela Matias tries to answer, but Jaden Brown denies the call. Lakers confident in the final moments, and fans are feeling it. But O Lake isn't done. Matias gets a bucket and a free throw. It's 37-34. Last chance for the Eaglets, but West Bloomfield gets the ball in bounds. Ryan Hood gets to the line and hits them both. It's 39-34. Orchard Lake would score in the final seconds, but it's all about the Lakers. They take the district title 39-36, breaking a 3-year finals weekend stretch for their crosstown rivals. After the game, Branislav Stoyanovsky was all smiles as he reflected on his game-changing corner triple.
I mean, I definitely thought of making a shot like that so many times before it happened, and in the moment, I didn't realize the magnitude, but then once they called the timeout, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I made the shot.
That three just part of the legacy that this classic will leave for the Lake Show, as head coach Arnett Jordan told me after the ball game.
One of the things that I told our kids before the game was, you know, you guys did not win an OA title, but you can leave your legacy tonight getting my first district title and yours. So if you do this, forget everything else. Leave your legacy on the wall, and that's for this first district title. You could see the momentum building all through the district of us just coming together and making plays and doing the things that we're supposed to do. I think now we can say we're a team, and like they say, we're here.
We're here. You heard them say we hear a lot after that game, after each of those wins. A big district round for West Bloomfield at home. Now they head out on the road Tuesday night. The regional round kicks off 5:30 p.m. tip-off at Lakeland High School for the West Bloomfield Lakers. They're going to have a tough go of it from here. It only gets tougher as it goes on. But one thing that's brought the team together has been family, has been tradition, has been the love of competition, something we heard a lot about out on Friday night at West Bloomfield High School as the Lakers took on the Eaglets. Both schools proud of their tradition, proud of this rivalry, and proud to make sports go well beyond what's on the court and out into the community. I had the chance to speak with many people out of West Bloomfield High School about just what that game experience meant to them. Roger Hood's son, Ryan, did not begin his career at West Bloomfield, but is looking to etch his name in Lakers history. That's no small feat, and neither is building the support system that has lifted these Lakers through a tough season. For families like the Hoods, it makes the game day experience far more than just a fun night of hoops.
Very intense, and it gives us a chance to express ourselves through cheering and clapping and, you know, just motivating the boys.
The support system is more than blood, it's community-wide. Longtime Orchard Lake St. Mary's assistant Marcus Webster says that is one of the primary reasons why games like the district final will last forever for his players and the Lakers.
It's a good neighborly rivalry, and the kids know each other, the staffs know each other. We're well in tune with what we both like to do, and actually it's for a great matchup. It's good for the kids' experience, too, over a lifetime. They'll be talking about this years down the line when they all become college students and adults. They'll go back to the days that they played each other back in the district final. So,
a lifer in his own right at West Bloomfield, athletic director Eric Pierce concurs with Coach Webster. The wins are great, but it's the way that athletes achieve those victories that creates those lifelong memories.
You always remember that moment in high school when you had the big game, the big shot, the big memory that you have. And we always say in West Bloomfield Athletics, if you have those memories.
No better time was had by anyone else than Branislav Stoyanovsky, whose late corner three put the Lakers in the driver's seat in their 39-36 victory in the district title game, creating one of those lifelong memories, the culmination of every Hooper's dream moment.
I mean, I definitely thought of making a shot like that so many times before it happened, and in the moment, I didn't realize the magnitude, but then once they called the timeout, I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I made the shot. But then it was just time to get back into the game, play some defense.
Evidently, the shot was also a game changer in the Lakers huddle, according to Coach Arnett Jordan.
I had just ripped in to be right out of the timeout. He just looked at me and smirked. So when he went to go shoot the three, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. And he a big shot hitter.
Yeah, what did he give you after that shot?
He looked at me like, oh, take that.
Now it's winning time for West Bloomfield. That's where Ryan Hood comes in, a championship competitor in Texas. Ryan now celebrates a district championship at West Bloomfield, but with the upperclassmen advice for keeping the Lake Show on the road to the Breslin Center.
Just stay locked in at practice, keep being together, and we're going to be able to do something for sure.
we're here.
At the very least, for Ryan Hood, bragging rights in a family rivalry where his brother attended the rival school up Orchard Lake Road.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, I get a little revenge. I always love it.
Nobody would expect a playoff run from a team with a losing record. Coach Jordan argues that to be a false negative. He believes his team's regular season losses are the catalyst behind historic victories like the district championship game.
During the league, we lost 7 or 8 games by less than 3 points, and I kept telling the kids, just stack. Just keep stacking. Let's learn. Let's learn. Let's learn. So when Bruce turned the ball over, guys were like, that's okay. We got it. We got it. Don't fall apart because we've been here. At some point, it's got to flip. I got confidence in all these guys. You know, you could see the momentum building all through the district of us just coming together and making plays and doing the things that we're supposed to do. I think now we can say we're a team. And like they say, we're here.
We're here. The Lakers will take on Avondale, 5:30 p.m. Tuesday tip-off at Waterford Mott. Earlier on, I misspoke and said Lakeland. That's where the girls are playing on Wednesday, possibly even on Friday. In their district round, the boys basketball team from West Bloomfield, they continue on Tuesday, 5:30 tip-off in the regional semifinal at Waterford Mott High School. Stay tuned right here on the Splash Live for continuing coverage of high school basketball playoffs for the boys, and this week, we begin our coverage of the girls as well. CivicCenterTV.com, and a huge congratulations to the Lakers who have played Orchard Lake St. Mary's each of the last 4 seasons in the district round at West Bloomfield High School. This is the first time they have been victorious. As we get to hopefully the end of winter, we've seen some variable weather lately, from sunshine to snow, but in Keego Harbor, their local staple, one of the hallmarks, one of the landmarks in the city is their local Dairy Queen that opened for the season, trying to push out the spring a little bit. I'll bring in our good friend Jake Schaff from our team, who was out there for opening day. Jake, thanks for coming on the show today. And what was the experience like that first day? It was kind of warm that day. It was sunny that day out at the Keego Harbor Dairy Queen. Much different from what we're having right now, but gets people in that spring spirit.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously, you look around today, the weather today isn't really reflective of what we're going through in Michigan right now, but you're starting to see that snow start to melt a little bit, the weather getting a little bit warmer, and all of these beloved establishments in Greater West Bloomfield are starting to open their doors again for the spring and the summer season. And the Dairy Queen in Keego Harbor is no different. That is one of the biggest symbols of saying, hey, warm weather is coming and winter is starting to go away. I saw quite a few people out there all enjoying their favorite ice creams. I may have indulged myself. I'm just going to be honest. But it was, I mean, you just take a bite of that ice cream and you suddenly start to envision what the winter is, or I'm sorry, what the spring and what the summer is going to be like all throughout the community. And it's such an exciting time.
You got Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania. You've got the Keego Harbor Dairy Queen in Greater West Bloomfield that tells you when spring is on its way. As you mentioned, Jake, so many people enjoying their ice cream that day that they didn't have a chance to talk with us even out there. They were just stuffing their faces with ice cream, celebrating the season, the warm weather. But it is really that big experience, that one of those big days on the calendar every year in the city of Keego Harbor. And even the conversations you had while enjoying some ice cream with the people in the heart of the lakes, is that the sense you got from?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone is just so excited that the Dairy Queen is open once again, stuffing their faces with that delicious ice cream. I don't blame them one bit. I mean, and we're just going to be continuing to see this in the coming weeks and the coming months all throughout Greater West Bloomfield as more and more establishments open up for the summer season and everyone starts to enjoy themselves throughout the community, and we get rid of this snow for good, at least for a while.
You get outside and into the Keego Harbor Dairy Queen in that environment. It's outside dining with some treats along the way, and it is the calling card of spring in Keego Harbor. Jake, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Tyler.
Have you go right back on out there. You'll see Jake on the Splash all throughout this week right here on Civic Center TV as we continue our coverage of all that's going on across Greater West Bloomfield. Those big moments, including the opening of the Keego Harbor Dairy Queen, and so many others that will start their business for the season coming up. We'll take a quick break on the Splash Live. Plenty to get to on today. A lot of people to talk to as there is so much happening in our community. We thank you for joining us live from West Bloomfield Town Hall on Civic Center TV.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be one in a million.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Carefully managed and sustainable forests are essential to Michigan, so wildlife has a home. Birds will thrive. Fish in our lakes and streams can enjoy clean water, and so all the people of Michigan can enjoy the benefits of the forest too. In fact, every branch of forestry ensures that future generations will always have a tree for life and forests for a lifetime. To learn how sustainable forestry benefits your life, visit michigan.gov/forests for a lifetime.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back live, local, social at West Bloomfield Town Hall, live on The Splash. I'm Tyler Keith. Thank you so much for joining us on a busy day and a busy time here in Greater West Bloomfield. So much going on, fun, games, intrigue, and a lot of news in our community. We appreciate you joining us each and every day and always following along on our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, X, and Instagram as well at Civic Center TV. Part of the fun that's coming to our community includes people that have built a living on some social media stardom. Someone with thousands of followers from Instagram over a game that she learned to love throughout her life, Canasta, a card game that brings so many people together. The Canasta consultant, Rochelle Schuster, will soon be over at Temple, Israel, teaching you and yours how to play this game for family game night or when you get together with your friends or just to learn some new skills and strategy with a couple decks of cards. I had a chance to speak to Rochelle about her upcoming appearance at Temple Israel right here on The Splash Live. Rochelle, thanks for joining us today for this special preview.
Thank you so much for having me. So exciting.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this because people want to learn new activities. They want something that's fun for the family, fun for them and their friends, something fresh and different that maybe they haven't played before. Why is this game the perfect option?
Well, the funny thing is that this game has been around for a very, very, very long time. But for me, the goal of teaching people how to play Canasta was to bring people together. It's really not about the game Canasta specifically. It's about bringing people, like you said, your family, your friends, getting together and having a good time. But the game Canasta is fantastic. It's played with 2 decks of cards. You could play with 2 regular decks of cards. And the best thing about Canasta, it's a partner game. So you need to show up for your partner. So even if you are having a challenging day, you're going to table it for a little while, you're going to focus, and you're going to play. So that is my goal for teaching people this game, and Temple Israel is making it so exciting to come and meet so many people that I've connected with through social media.
It's a night with a Canasta consultant. Learn a little bit about the game, learn a little bit of the strategy, play a little bit, meet some people in the community. So much fun behind this. And Rochelle, as people come to this event and they are ready to learn maybe a new game for their lineup or improve their skills, what can they expect? What's going to kind of be the flow of this event?
So the goal of our event at Temple Israel is to talk about a couple of things. It's about talking about starting a new career at a different stage of life, which is something that I've been doing and working on. It's about connecting with people. And then it's about getting together and playing. So we're going to have a Q&A type forum. We're going to talk about moving forward at the next stage of life. And then we are also going to have opportunity for people who are players to play with their friends. You can come and be solo. We will set you up at a table, and I will be there to monitor, answer questions. Canasta is a very interesting game because while it is filled with rules, there are rules and there are table rules. So we'll talk about that. And, you know, we just want everyone to be included and come and have a great night out.
And this is a game, Rochelle, that what's great about this is it's a great social game. It's something you can get together with friends and play. Maybe it's a good game for couples and their couple friends to play and get to know each other a little better, have some friendly competition. But it's something that's great for people of any age to learn a little bit and to have a little bit of that strategy that they can also employ beyond this game. How does gaming, in particular something like this that involves that strategy and that teamwork, translate beyond just your family game night?
Well, that's really what my goal of Canasta Consultant is. It's making it a priority to take a little time for yourself. And a lot of us forget about that. When we're young, we're busy doing all our school and all that kind of stuff, things that our parents are telling us that we need to do. And then as we move on to young adults, we're focusing on taking care of our own young children. And then, before you know it, you're very caught up and you're never really thinking about yourself. And really my motivation to get playing wasn't until much later on in life, when I was watching how my mother did prioritize these relationships for herself, and it's keeping her an independent woman at 79 years old. But I teach women, men, all different ages, all different backgrounds to come together and play.
And you mentioned the connection with your mother and her connection to playing games with her friends kept her vibrant, kept her socially active, kept her building a community around her for years to come. For you personally, as you became the Canasta Consultant, how did you get into this? How did this become part of your life?
Well, it's actually a really fun story for me. I learned how to play many years ago, but like I said, I really didn't commit to the game. And if you don't play this game regularly, it's very hard to remember the rules. When I wanted to start playing again, and I would ask all my friends, everybody associated it with being old, with being a grandma. And I'm neither a grandma yet, hopefully soon, one day, but I'm getting older, but not really at that stage where people thought that this is what it's all about. So I would ask, and nobody wanted to play with me until somebody asked me. And I joined them, and it was the best Wednesday of my life. And while I've always worked as an adult, I said I was going to prioritize this for myself. And I'm an elementary school teacher by trade. So when people would ask me a question, I would answer them. And when they would ask me the same question, I would answer them again and not make them feel stupid about it. So people would say, you should teach. But I wanted to break that stereotype. So I asked my young adult children to help me create this Instagram Canasta Consultant. I asked 29 friends to follow me. That was a year ago, September. Now I have over 10,000 people part of my community. 500,000 people watch my tutorials a month, and it has been incredible.
A night with a Canasta Consultant at Temple Israel on Tuesday, March 10th, 6 p.m. at Temple Israel. More information can be found on temple-israel.org, or you can visit them on their Facebook page as well at Temple Israel MI. We're joined by Rochelle Schuster, who will be leading this class, teaching you how to play canasta, improving your game, and maybe even connecting with some people in the community. Rochelle, as you've held these sessions and taught people the game, taught them how the game can help them in other areas of your life, how have you found that just these courses alone have helped maybe build a little bit of community within the communities that you helped out in?
Well, it's interesting. When I started my social media platform right away, and I want you to know I didn't even know how to make a birthday post. So this was a learning curve for me, and it still is a learning curve for me. But what I quickly found out is that people want to make friends, and it's a little challenging sometimes to do that at this stage of life. When you're not making your friends at school or through your children. So a lot of people would reach out to me, and I very, very quickly started Matchmaking Mondays. So every Monday I will post Matchmaking Mondays, and the goal originally was to find people who wanted to learn how to play, and I would teach them in my community. And I've done that, and it's been amazing. And I've connected so many of my personal friends with other people. However, now when I post on Matchmaking Monday, I suggest people to write in the comments. I live here, I live in this city, I live in the state, I'm in New York. I'm coming to Michigan because they found me through social media, and I love that. So, it's a way to connect. People want to make friends. We right now we're so busy being on our phones and scrolling, and you forget how important real life connection is. So I hope that by giving people an opportunity to try to connect that way, we can bring that back to life.
How do you find, and that's an interesting point that you make about the technology of our modern day, how it kind of disrupts our social dynamics. How do you find that learning this new game, maybe with a loved one, maybe with some friends, employing it into a game night, helps to restore some of that, for lack of better terminology, normal social communications?
Listen, it's important, and the thing about doing something like this as a game, it's not expensive. So, not every plan has to be around a big night out. So it is a way to connect. I do teach a lot of women, but you've mentioned couples, and very often after I do teach the women, they want their husbands to learn. And it's a really fun way to come together, whether you have a steady game or, once a month get together with a group. So my husband doesn't play, but that's okay. But, it really is a wonderful way to connect with people. And even, children. Canasta is a challenging game. I don't teach a lot of children how to play canasta, to be honest with you, but I'm sure they could learn. But it's really more about getting together.
Every time I think about canasta, and even just getting ready for this show today, I kept going back to thinking about, look, it's a complicated game. It's a little bit of a team element. There's a lot of different rules flying around. It's kind of like we play this game in Michigan called euchre. It's a big game all across the state of Michigan. Pretty much everyone knows how to play it, except for me. Don't tell anyone. So, this kind of similar connection gives people a new game to maybe try out in their homes here in Greater West Bloomfield. Rochelle Schuster's with us. She'll be hosting a night with a canasta consultant at Temple Israel on March 10th. Anything else we should know before we have to say goodbye today?
Just, go for it. It's okay. Don't feel like you're not smart enough, that you don't have people to play with. Find the people. Maybe I can help you find the people. So reach out to me if that's something that you're interested in doing. I would love to see you. And I can't wait to meet my friends at Temple Israel in Michigan. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on and welcome you and hope to see you very soon. Have a pleasant time when you join us out here in Greater West Bloomfield in March. Rochelle, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Such great energy from Rochelle talking about canasta, but even more talking about how canasta and her efforts bring people together. That will be happening at Temple Israel coming up in just a little while, mid-March here in Greater West Bloomfield. Visit them on their Facebook or Instagram page at Temple Israel MI for more information. Close to home on your television screens on the national side, you may have just recently seen a very familiar face on one of the most popular syndicated shows on planet Earth. Reverend Elizabeth Hurd from West Bloomfield United Methodist Church was recently a contestant on Jeopardy and joins us now right here on the Splash Live to tell us more about her experience. Reverend Hurd, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on. As you had this great experience. You got to go on one of your favorite shows. What was that experience like for you?
It was honestly so surreal. I mean, I've been wanting to be on Jeopardy since I was in high school. And so to go through the entire test process and audition process and finally get that call was just a dream come true. And then to be there, I'm still pinching myself. I'm like, was that real? Did that happen? I mean, it did. It aired. So, but it was fantastic.
Yeah, it may not have been the result you wanted, but it's still the result ultimately you were going for was to get on the show and have that experience. So, having thought about it for so long, as you mentioned, wanting to be on that show since you were in high school, now getting a chance to do that, did it fulfill all those goals, all that thought you may have thought it was going to be like?
I mean, you're right. It wasn't exactly the result I wanted. I think anybody who goes on the show is I want to win the game. You don't go on and think I definitely want to get second place. But my real goal was just to make it to final, not go negative and get there. And I did that and I'm proud of it. And, second place on Jeopardy is second place on Jeopardy. How many people can say that they've done even that? But yeah, it really was a dream come true, and was an incredible experience that I just get to say I had for the rest of my life.
I always wonder this when I watch Jeopardy. I think about it. I'm sure many people at home that watched you here in Greater West Bloomfield have the same question. How do you prepare for the breadth of knowledge that you need to compete on a show like that?
Yeah, Jeopardy is such a general knowledge show. Really, your knowledge base has to be about a mile wide and an inch deep. So, a question, like one of the questions I got was about science experiments, and it was an $1,000 question in the first round, and the answer was Louis Pasteur. And that was not something I was 100% sure about, but it was a French scientist in the 1860s. Usually you're going to be talking about Louis Pasteur there. So really, you just have to love learning. You have to have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. And, I also went on, there's a website that's created by a fan that has archived every single game since the Alex Trebek era started. And I just went and looked at games from like 10 years ago up to the present day to just get a sense of what kind of questions do they ask, what usually pops up, how do they phrase the questions. And so there is a little bit of training that goes into it, but there's no great way to prepare. You have no idea what categories you're going to get. You have no idea what you're going to be asked on the show. You just have to kind of trust that you know enough to be there.
Reverend Elizabeth Hurd is with us from West Bloomfield United Methodist Church, and most recently from Jeopardy on national TV all across the U.S., including in your homes right here in Greater West Bloomfield. You mentioned that this was a long process for you. You get on the show, you get to achieve that dream, but then you got to keep it secret because it doesn't air the next day. What was that like for you?
Luckily, I was luckier. My entire taping cohort was luckier than most because we only had 3 weeks between taping and airing. Usually there's a couple of months between there, but we were the first original recipe Jeopardy shows after their tournament break. So it was interesting. Luckily, my parents had been out there with me, so my parents had known how I did. I may have told my brother and like a couple of very trusted friends, but I think that was actually kind of really fun, was the secret of holding in how I had done, because a bunch of my friends were like, well, did you win? And I'm like, you have to watch. You have to watch the show. And that just made for a really excellent like surprise when I had my viewing party and my friends were there watching. Would have been more excellent if I had won, but they were still glad to see that I had been out there and done a great job. So,
and you got to go do something that you had always thought about doing, and so many people have those thoughts in their head. They have these shows they want to audition for, they want to try out for, something like Jeopardy, and they put it off because life's in the way. I don't know if I'm going to have time. What's your advice to people if they have a show like this that they want to go on, why they should apply?
Just apply. I took the various forms of the Jeopardy online test, from like the teen test, the college tournament test, the regular adult test, and then the anytime test when they started that in 2020. I took that every single year. And so this was like 17 years in the making. I had landed a couple of auditions that didn't work out. And then for whatever reason, this was the year. So just be persistent, just keep trying. You talk about putting something off. I literally the day before I got the notice that I had an audition for Jeopardy, I found out that I had thyroid cancer. And so it was just this very weird thing of like, life is lifing, and yet this dream is still there. Life is going to happen, and if you have something that you want to go for it, just make sure you do, because it will. If it's meant to be, I truly think the opportunity will come to you.
And it gives you a chance to let people know your story, and maybe perhaps be an inspiration for someone else. It's something you do on a day-to-day basis in your day job here at United Methodist Church. And I know for other people that may have those stories, that may be able to put themselves out in this way, what experience did you have being able to express yourself through going on a show like this?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was so nervous about like what was I going to look like on Jeopardy. And I think that one thing that I've heard consistently from like my friends and my family that have watched was that like, yeah, that was exactly how we expected you to be. Like I I'm a very external processor. So every single time I got a question right, I had a reaction. When I got a question wrong, I had a reaction. I made a little quip about my mom having a pacemaker when I hit a daily double. And it was just like, all my friends have been like, yeah, that's who you are. And so it was just a wonderful experience to be on a national stage and be able to fully express, like, I don't know, Jeopardy sometimes is so serious, and I'm not always the most serious of people. And it was fun to just bring a little bit of light and levity and fun to the stage.
It's always a fun time to have that experience and to be able to spread some smiles to people in your community and far beyond. Reverend Hurd, before I let you go, gotta give you the question. They do this sometimes. They like the people that they have on. Their second place people come back again. Would you do Jeopardy?
Absolutely. If Jeopardy called and was like, "We want you in the second chance tournament," which I would be surprised if they called me back. But absolutely, if they called and said, "We want you in the second chance tournament, we want you to come back," I was telling people the problem with Jeopardy is you play until you lose. And then you play and it's like addicting. You're like, I want to go again. How can I go again? So absolutely, if they called, I would go back. But I would also be very surprised if that happened.
Well, you got the community here behind you, rooting for you to get back on that second chance season. We're calling on you, Ken Jennings. Get Elizabeth Hurd back out there. Reverend Hurd, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Reverend Elizabeth Hurd from United Methodist Church in West Bloomfield, but on the national stage, she is from Jeopardy. After this would begin, haven't had a chance to see it, go back online and check out those recent episodes. We've got some big updates from right here close to home in Greater West Bloomfield. Perhaps you've been driving up and down Orchard Lake Road and seen one of the most highly anticipated projects in our community in recent years. Big changes over at Fire Station Number 1. We sent our team's Jake Schaff out there to learn more about the most recent updates.
It may not look like much at the moment, but construction has been hard at work for the brand new West Bloomfield Fire Station Number 1, a building that is planning to serve as a beacon for the West Bloomfield community and a symbol of the fire department's dedication to protecting our neighbors. I had the chance to speak with Deputy Fire Chief Mark Lawry to get some updates on the construction's progress and to get a better understanding of what this brand new fire station will be providing.
I just got back from a walkthrough with Partners and Architect, and we went through the walkthrough of the upper level. So right now the upper level is studded in. That means that the drywall and everything isn't in yet. And the reason that we do the walkthrough is to make sure that we're getting all the electrical and all the low voltage drops and everything where it should be before we close the walls in. So right now it's set up where there are 3 bunks. There's the officers' quarters, the officers' office, and then we did a quick look at the downstairs. Probably about a month from now, we'll go do the walkthrough of the downstairs, and that's when all of those walls will be studded in and ready to kind of do a final preview before they close it up.
What would you say are maybe the next steps in terms of this construction with Fire Station 1?
So currently, as soon as they get done with our approval of where all the plugs and everything go, they'll start to close that up, and then they'll move to the basement and do kind of the same process. So they'll put all the studs in, make sure that everything is where we want it before they close anything in. And that's where I was saying about a month from now, we should be looking at that. Currently, we are still on time. We're still on budget, and we're expecting, hopefully, to have this open and operating out of it the end of December.
Now, I would imagine with Fire Station 1 currently being closed, there's been a little bit of rerouting for some of the officers. What has that transitional process been like for the fire department?
So luckily for us, we've been through this process before. If you remember when we closed Station 3 for a little while and rebuilt that. So we basically did the same thing. We reallocated assets and personnel to make sure that we could still cover all of the areas that we needed to cover. So yes, it's a little busier in the south, and some of the other stations are picking up the area that Station 1 normally covers, but there's been 0 drop in service.
What is it like to really finally be putting these plans into action and starting a new chapter for Fire Station 1 in West Bloomfield?
And we would like to take all the credit for this, but we know that that's not true. This has been a team effort with everybody from town hall staff all the way through to the folks that are out there hanging studs right now. We've had a ton of support with our planning, with our building, with our finance. There's a lot of folks that have helped us and are in on a lot of the planning meetings, which is why this, as a collaborative effort, is going so smoothly. We're doing better this time than we have in the past, and we're just simply learning from mistakes we made earlier.
Any final words you'd like to give to the West Bloomfield community about this construction and what's to come next?
We appreciate the support that the community gives us, and we understand that it's a bit of an eyesore right now. But when it's done, we will all be proud of what the final product looks like.
Plenty of work being done here in West Bloomfield, with this building set to open by the end of this year, as this brand new fire station will serve its purpose and serve the community for many years in the future. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
I had someone that saw me recently out in the community and was asking, like, hey, you guys kind of know what's going on here. You know pretty well what's happening. What's with that building on Orchard Lake Road that they're doing all this construction on? What's going on? It seems like a big project. And fire station number 1, they're making some huge changes over there, and they have given us so graciously that inside access to keep you updated. We'll continue to keep you updated on fire station number 1 in the months ahead. You can also get more information, including very helpful safety tips from the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page, facebook.com/WB Fire Department. Close to home and all throughout Oakland County, you look this time of the year with the weather getting warm, going back to being cold. Now we got snow again. Those roads get really treacherous, especially when you get a bunch of potholes on your commute here in the community and out around Oakland County. I spoke to Craig Bryson from the Road Commission for Oakland County to learn what they do when these potholes pop up, why they pop up so commonly this time of the year, and how you can help the Road Commission. Craig, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, Tyler. Good to be here.
Glad to have you on to talk about this. I'm sure it's something on the minds of a lot of people. We've seen a lot of these potholes pop up, especially in the last couple of weeks. Part of that, I'd imagine, is because we went from having a frigidly cold winter, not uncommon for us here in southeast Michigan, to all of a sudden it feels like spring outside. Punxsutawney Phil might be full of crap in 2026. How does that weather pattern, that weather behavior, impact our roadways, especially when it's such a sudden change?
Well, that as you implied, that's the perfect recipe for the creation of potholes. When you have it freezing and the water gets into the cracks in the roads, freezes, it expands, then the temperatures rise, that water melts and it leaves a void in the road. As soon as a car drives over it, the road collapses and you've got a pothole. And obviously we've seen that all over the county multiple times as we've had these fluctuations in temperature.
And what's the science behind that, too? Because we know that these temperatures obviously have an impact on our roads. The freezing temperatures, all the salt and the other debris from the winter can have an impact. But scientifically, when that weather pattern changes, how does the way that our roads are built factor in to how these potholes pop up?
Well, the part of the problem really is not so much science, but it's age and dollars. The problem, the area where we have the problems are the roads that are old. It's not the roads that we've resurfaced or reconstructed recently. It's the roads that we have not yet been able to reconstruct or resurface that have a lot of cracks in them because the pavement is old and the moisture gets into those cracks. And that's where the trouble starts. The moisture goes down, it freezes inside the pavement, it expands, and as I said, it creates the void that then becomes the pothole. So it's really a question of those older pavements, those older roads that are the real problem.
The Road Commission, when we have a weather event, will clear the main roads first, those major thoroughfares like freeways and highways in greater West Bloomfield. Orchard Lake Road, one of the first that will be on the docket for the Road Commission for Oakland County. And so when you have these potholes pop up, is it the same sort of priority, or does severity play into how you respond to them organizationally?
It's both. First and foremost, for our regular routine pothole patching, safety dictates, just like with plowing and salting, that we do the busier roads first, the roads that carry the most traffic moving at the highest speeds. However, when we learn about one of those big tire bursting potholes, that immediately becomes a priority wherever it is. We don't want to see anybody get a flat tire if we can help it, or damage a rim or worse. So we will immediately go to fix those potholes. If it's after hours and we're not in, we'll bring in crews to fix those. Those are critical. And that's where, frankly, we rely a lot on the public to tell us about those, because they can develop almost instantaneously, almost anywhere. And while we're out, we can't be everywhere all the time. So when people let us know about those, we'll get on those right away.
And it's a little bit different when you have city roads or local roads in our cities and our townships here in Greater West Bloomfield or otherwise. How does the Road Commission collaborate with our local communities when their roads, maybe not those major thoroughfares, are experiencing similar issues?
Well, each community that has jurisdiction over its roads is responsible for the maintenance of those roads. So, for example, in West Bloomfield Township, we have jurisdiction over all the roads. So we handle all of those. In the cities and villages, we have a mix where some of the main roads are ours and some of them belong to the cities and villages. And we cannot legally spend our money on their roads, and they can't legally spend their money on our roads. So we each take care of our own road systems.
And so when you have potholes, if it's on a city road, probably should call City Hall. When it's on one of those major roads, the Road Commission for Oakland County would be your first point of contact. For more information, rcocweb.org. You can also follow the Road Commission for Oakland County for updates on our local roadways, facebook.com/RoadCom or @RoadCom on Facebook for more info. Craig Bryson joins us from the Road Commission for Oakland County. We've seen a lot of potholes lately, and they're on the docket addressing that each and every day across Greater West Bloomfield and around Oakland County. What are some of the fixes that are applied to these potholes, Craig? Because the reality of it is we're still just right now, as we're talking today in late February, we could be 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, have another set of snowstorms, another unthawing again. Are these temporary fixes or are these permanent fixes that you're applying to these potholes?
They are not temporary, are not permanent fixes. They are temporary fixes. The only material that is available to use in the winter is something called cold patch. It's specifically designed for use in the winter. It remains malleable even in below freezing temperatures, so our crews can shovel it and put it in the holes. The problem is, though, it is not the same kind of asphalt that's available in the summer and the spring when the asphalt plants are open. And it works well in some situations where the road is dry and where the road around the pothole is solid. But if we're patching a hole where the road is crumbling around the patch and where there's water already in the hole, odds are it's not going to last that long, that the road will continue to crumble around it, and that moisture will prevent it from lasting an awfully long time. But again, it's the only material that is available this time of year, specifically designed for this use. But the ideal solution is when the asphalt plants open in the spring to use what we call hot mix, much closer to an asphalt-like pavement that we use when we're repaving roads, and that lasts much longer.
So how long does that end up lasting, or is there a more permanent solution outside of either doing that or, as you mentioned earlier on, a fully new repaving of the road?
Yeah, a cold patch can last anywhere from a couple hours to theoretically a couple of years. It really depends on what the road condition is around that pothole. But the real solution is to resurface roads. Potholes, in the best scenario, are just a temporary solution. The real solution is to put down new asphalt, either reconstruct the road or just put down new asphalt. If the road is in moderately decent shape, we can put new asphalt right on top of the existing road. Those solutions will get us more than likely at least 5 years. A reconstruction can get us 20 or 30 years. So those are the real solutions.
Craig Bryson joins us on the Splash Live today. We're talking about potholes. If you've seen them pop up in the community, think about it. Local road, you should call City Hall. If you're in West Bloomfield Township, even call Town Hall. They'll communicate with the Road Commission on repairing those roadways. Those major thoroughfares, think Middle Belt, think Orchard Lake Road, even Cass Lake in some different parts of Greater West Bloomfield. That's going to be more along the lines of something the Road Commission for Oakland County will address. Craig, if people in our community see those potholes come up on Orchard Lake Road or any of those other major thoroughfares in our communities that I just mentioned, what should they do? How do they go about getting that word to the Road Commission?
Right, and we do appreciate that information. They can either call us or they can go to the website, as you mentioned, www.rcocweb.org. There's a button at the top of the page to report issues. You click on that and select potholes. There's a form you can fill out that tells us exactly where it is. If it's an emergency pothole that's causing flat tires or could potentially cause crashes, please call us. And the number is 877-877-8255. 858-4804. Those are the best ways to get a hold of us.
Another way to find that information, rcocweb.org. Craig Bryson with us as we talk about potholes today. Other than, of course, calling in those potholes to get them repaired as quickly as possible by the Road Commission for Oakland County, what other steps can drivers take as they may be aware of potholes being in the vicinity as they're driving throughout our community, or if they're coming up on one, to protect their vehicle, prevent that damage we often see this time of year?
Yeah, because of the nature of the weather this time of year, you never know when or where a pothole is going to pop up. So, the best thing you can do is slow down, be aware of your environment, assume that there may be potholes, and just take it slow, particularly on those roads. If you've noticed them in the past, they probably will be there again in the future. So just slow down on those roads in particular. Don't swerve, just kind of like deer. Don't swerve into oncoming traffic to avoid them. Better to get a flat than have a head-on collision. But if you slow down and take your time, hopefully you'll hit them with less severity and hopefully minimal damage.
Greg, anything else that our audience should be aware of regarding potholes or other common issues we see as winter weather fluctuates, or in the weeks ahead as we get toward that final transition from winter to spring?
Well, one thing I think a lot of people don't realize is that while there are certainly more potholes than any of us would like this year, there are actually far fewer than in recent past years. Since we got some additional funding from the state starting in 2017, we've resurfaced more than 600 miles of roads. Most of those roads were the ones that were most prone to having potholes. So we've repaired a lot of the worst roads. So there are actually far fewer potholes, believe it or not, this year than in recent past years. Again, any potholes are too many, but fewer is better. And we're in better shape. We will resurface more roads in this year and the coming years, and gradually chip away at those roads that are most likely to have them.
And maybe one more thing that makes all this construction we see around Oakland County a little bit less frustrating is going back earlier to our conversation where you said, hey, those newer roads less likely are going to have those potholes pop up than on some of the elder ones in our community. Craig, always appreciate your information. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
As we talk about the potholes in our community, we had him on the show last week, talked to him about all this, and it's a big issue in our community. So hopefully that info will help you going forward. It's also a time for celebration in our local Muslim community as they celebrate Eid al-Fitr coming up. But before they get to that, a big celebration coming up on Sunday, March 7th from noon to 8 p.m. at West Bloomfield High School. We've got a couple of people with us to tell us even more about this conversation, this big event, the Eid Bazaar at the middle school. Farzana and Ariba Alam join us now on the Splash Live. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Glad to have you both on the show today. Farzana, I want to start with you. Just tell us a little bit about this bazaar, this event that you're having at the middle school that will bring both our local Muslim community and the greater community together in celebration.
Yeah, we are very excited for this event again this year, and the vibe is warm, vibrant, and welcoming. It's colorful, lively, and full of positive energy. You will hear laughter, smell amazing food, see beautiful, shiny, traditional outfits, and jewelry, and feel a real sense of community. It is not just shopping, it is a celebration.
And part of that celebration is inviting other people in too. It's not just limited to those in our local Muslim community. It's a great way to show the celebration and the unity that goes from your community religiously out to the greater West Bloomfield community and beyond. How does something like this help to bridge some of those gaps and give people the knowledge of your culture?
Yeah, Eid is a time to celebrate like gift giving and gathering with loved ones. At the bazaar, families can find everything in one place: traditional clothing, jewelry, and gift items like and henna and food. So instead of driving all over different stores, you can find everything under one roof and prepare for Eid, and supporting local small vendors and businesses right here in the community. So everyone is welcome to join. this bazaar.
And Ariba, I want to go to you too, give you a chance to speak on this too, because as a younger person in our community, it can be tough to make those connections with people on a religious level, especially in a community that's so culturally diverse, to bring people in. How does something like this help you connect with more people in your community and in your age cohort to let them get to know a little bit of your cultural background?
Yeah, first off, thank you for having me. I think these types of events really help with connecting with people that are in my age group, because to these types of events, families come. It's not just elderly people or young people, it's like people of all ages, all cultures and backgrounds. So it's definitely a great way to connect with those people, and you can chit chat and shop and make those types of connections and long-term friendships as well.
How does this, Ariba, connect people to the spirit of the Eid al-Fitr season and this time of the year in your community? What do you hope is the takeaway people have when they leave that fun day out at West Bloomfield Middle School on Sunday?
I hope that the takeaway is that it's important to embrace everybody's culture and religion, and that there's fun parts in everything that you do. There's food and clothing, jewelry, like henna. I know a lot of my friends are really excited for the henna. A lot of people love that. They think it's very beautiful. So I think that's also like a fun thing. So just connecting with each other. That's like the big takeaways for everyone to come together in these types of events.
And that's what's so great about these sorts of gatherings, especially in the multicultural community like Greater West Bloomfield. Farzana, we're short on time, and I apologize. We're going to have to get going pretty soon. But before we do, I want to go back to you, because this is really what all of our religious communities are about, bringing people together, celebrating as a community. So for you to be able to organize something like this, be a part of something like this once again in 2026, how does it warm your heart?
Yeah, it feels like so much excitement, and I would absolutely love everyone to join. This event is about the community, culture, and connections. So it is a good opportunity to learn, try new food, see beautiful tradition, and support local business. Everyone is welcome, and we like to see everyone on the day of March 7th.
Sunday, March 7th, 12 noon to 8 p.m., West Bloomfield Middle School, right in the heart of our community on Orchard Lake Road. Farzana, Ariba, thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you both for coming on, letting our community here on our viewership know about this. It's a great way to connect our cultures in Greater West Bloomfield and create some additional unity and have a really enjoyable day together. So again, that's going to be noon to 8 p.m. on Sunday at West Bloomfield Middle School. That does it for us live outside of West Bloomfield Town Hall. I want to give a huge thank you to our entire team. This was no easy effort today. Ryan Younglove and Calvin Brown at Master Control making this happen on the technical side. Can't say enough thank yous to Jake Schaff on this side of things, my producer today, my co-host for a little bit, making this show happen. We thank you, as always, for tuning in. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV.